Hello Transurfers and the Transurfing Curious. I am Renee Garcia and this is of course TransurfingTV, the only official reality transurfing YouTube channel endorsed by Vadim Zeland himself, the author of Reality Transurfing. So first off, if you have not yet subscribed, please do so now. We really appreciate your subscription. We're trying to get our numbers up, so if you could subscribe, it would greatly help us. And of course, if you have not yet joined the Facebook group, International Transurfing Institute Facebook group community, we have a lot of awesome conversations, such as the one that I'm going to go over now, and many, many more. So if you have not yet joined us there, please do so. We will accept you with open arms. It's a beautiful community and we are a thriving community. So this one was by request. This is why you don't need any more self-help books. You need action instead. So stop reading books. I know this sounds wild and it feels really good to read a self-help book, and I'm going to get into why exactly it feels really good, but why ultimately it not only does not help you, but it actually hurts you. So in order to succeed or improve in any area in your life, any area, relationships, money, family, personal success, health, if you're going to succeed in any area in your life, you actually have to do something. And what happens is when we read books, we feel as though we're doing something. We feel as though we're taking action. We get lulled into a dangerous place where that urge to thrive gets satiated by some external knowledge that is fine if you apply it. But if you don't apply it and you simply go to a book and satiate that feeling like I am really doing something for my life and my reality, you are not only not helping yourself, you're actually harming yourself, because you are getting into a pattern of this exact act. And I think we all know, if it's not you yourself, that there are many people that continue to read self-help books, yet they don't improve. So the self-help book almost becomes like an addiction itself, that you'll read one, you'll feel a little rush because you've got all this new information, all this new material. You believe that you're going to apply it to your reality. You don't. So then you think possibly it was the wrong book or there's a better book. And then you go about finding that better book and you start the process all over again, but you never actually get anywhere. You're sucked into the self-help book pendulum. It's taking your time, it's taking your energy, and really what you need to do is act. So Mike Cates and I've used this statement from Mike a lot and I absolutely love it. Mike Cates from the ITI Facebook group gave this analogy. He says, I can stand in front of a mirror and I can have a thought or an emotion about who I want to be or what I want to do or what I want to see in my life. But the thought inside your head does not make the image move in the mirror. And the image moving in the mirror is what we're looking for, because remember, whatever we put out into our reality gets presented back to us via the mirror. So if I act like something now, if I act like an entrepreneur right now, not just think about it, but I act like an entrepreneur, I find new business ventures, I take action, I start networking, I actually do something physical in my reality, my mirror will ultimately respond back to me with confirmation that I have achieved that thing that I have been acting like. Now, when you look into the mirror and you just think something, or you have an emotion about something, this is not going to move that image in the mirror. And this is precisely what self-help books do. They get your brain going. You think you're doing something, but you're not actually doing anything. Most people are simply thinking of taking action. They don't actually take action. So this is where the self-help genre can be destructive. It helps you to feel like you're taking action, but you're really just thinking it. You're not actually taking action. So if you're watching this right now, or you are a member of ITI, or you're watching any other media, social media platforms, or watching other videos on other modalities, and you are not taking that stuff and actually applying it to your life, it is simply entertainment. The same with books. For a lot of people, reality transurfing is merely entertainment because they're not applying the things via action to their realities. So a question, are you actually taking action or simply being entertained by me or someone else or by a book? Or are you actually going to take what I'm talking about now and follow this stuff? Put the self-help books down and actually live these techniques and take the steps to creating a new reality for yourself rather than just thinking of one. So another thing that I want to touch on is when you hear things like, hey, 5 simple ways to be successful. That is comforting. That's comforting as a human being, because what people like me, that maybe their intentions aren't so good, I would never say, hey, 5 simple ways. I have the things that I do to feel good, but throwing that out there like that, hey, 5 simple ways, or your one trick to doing this. When you click on that, here's your one trick, or here's your 5 simple ways. What that does is it lulls you into a false sense of security that what you want is just a few steps away. It's very, very close. It's only one trick or one step. So you don't have to do it right now because it's only one step or only one trick. You could do it anytime. So that's why people love clicking on stuff like that. One trick that'll help you do this thing. So you watch it and then you're like, okay, cool, I got that. So as soon as I want to do that, then I can just do that one trick. The sad thing is most people don't actually follow that one trick because they feel like it's a little magical key that they can just turn anytime and open the door. So why do it right now? So be cautious of these. And I know we all fall into these things. Sometimes I do. Sometimes I post things that I'm like, hey, 5 steps to the wave of success. Now, I'm telling you what I do personally, but if you're just looking at it for the sake of entertainment, it's bullshit. It's not going to help you. But if you're actually going to take those things and do them, then it will give you some value, but you have to, we're in an exchange here. I'm going to give you some stuff, but then it's your turn to take it and go do something with it rather than just watching me or hearing me and feeling as though you are helping yourself when you're actually not. It's just a thought in your head. And I'm sorry if this sounds a little too preachy, but I see a lot of people or hear a lot of people message me that are like, hey, I've been applying these things for a long time and nothing's working. And I'm like, are you actually applying them or are you just thinking of them? So this knowledge, any self-help knowledge, any modality, what happens is it excites us. It excites us enough to satiate that urge to evolve. And what happens is you fall victim into simply continuing what you were doing before, which is not taking action. And I know that sounds harsh, but this is how I see it. A quick story of something that I heard that I absolutely loved is Louis C.K., the comedian, told this story about how he was on a plane and he was sitting in first class. And he watched a soldier going to war come up on the plane, and somebody in first class got up, not him, somebody got up and gave him, the soldier, their first class seat. And this first class person went and took the soldier's seat and coach. And Louis C.K. said, this was amazing. And I felt like, you know what, next time I'm going to do that. So the next time he was on a flight and somebody walked in that he wanted to give his first class seat up to, he thought about it in his mind, but then he didn't take the action. And the joke was, well, it felt really good to think about it in my mind. You know, and that's really where a lot of this stuff, you know, being a better person, taking the steps to contribute in your community, self-help, all this stuff, don't just let it be a thought in your mind. You actually have to take action. You actually have to put yourself in the position to do the thing. So I always found that story funny, and this is a great example of somebody holding something in their mind that they find, you know, worthy or somebody they'd like to be or whatever, but then they don't follow it up with the action. And of course, this is how self-development works too. Is it just a drive to think about it, or are you willing to actually take the steps? Improving your life really sucks at first. We have to look at this. Ending that toxic relationship that you've outgrown, quitting drinking, pulling the plug on a dead-end career, or building a new career for yourself, finding a new profession, getting to the gym to be healthier. All these things are real actions that suck when you start them. They do. They're hard. It's hard to get out of bed in the morning and go to the gym at 5:30 if you work a regular job. It's hard to think about restructuring your professional life. It's hard to sever relationships that aren't good for us any longer. But it's this type of action that we need to take in order to create better realities, rather than just allowing the idea of taking the action lull us back to sleep, where we become complacent in our reality, accepting that script that is no longer serving us. So you don't need any more. Use what you've learned and actually start taking the action now. But it's about taking the action. And I know I'm becoming incredibly redundant here, but it is something that I encounter lots with people wanting to change. You have to go beyond the thought. The Tufte concepts and techniques being broken down, and you know, people ask me all the time, well, do you imagine the plate is like this, or do you imagine the plate is like that, or am I doing this right? And what I hear when somebody asks me that is they want to keep grasping for information that they feel is going to one day just magically connect them with exactly what they need, and all of a sudden the technique is going to work and they're going to apply it to their reality and they are going to see results. All of these techniques are just one of the infinite number of ways that you can create your own reality. There is no right and there is no wrong. There is just what works for you. So if you're looking to have that, well, I don't get the plate doesn't work for me, and so I'm going to ask a bunch of questions about how you feel about it and how it worked for you and this and that. That's not how the plate is going to work for you. The plate is going to work for you by you doing some stuff in your mind, having communication with yourself, your heart, your soul, and figuring out what the key is for you to feel that sensation so it starts to work for you. That knowledge, as a lot of this knowledge is, there are questions about it, or connections, ways you'll connect with it, that are only going to be found inside. They are not external. All the ways that I have learned to apply reality transurfing and the Tufte concepts to my life, all of the little keys, all of the little tweaks, all of that stuff, they've come from within. They do not come from outside. Now, that doesn't mean places like ITI can't support you or you can't get inspiration, but constantly looking for that magic key externally is not the way to go about it. It's about finding that magical key internally. So start using these concepts now to the best of your abilities and find ways to tweak them that will show you the way to actually using them for yourself. You've got enough knowledge of them. It's time to start the shift now and actually start working with them. So how to start taking action now. If you've not yet watched my 30 Anomalous Action Challenge video, I would suggest this. This is about you practicing the ability to take action. Most of us are scared to take action, and what helped me a lot was putting myself out there and consistently taking action and getting used to that movement. It wasn't that I needed more knowledge, it's that I needed more action, but I had to practice. It's just like riding a bike. Again, you don't need more knowledge, you need inspiration and you need motivation, internal motivation to get moving. You don't need coaches, mentorship, or classes. And I know this speaks against what I do because I do coach people and I do give courses and I do have ITI and of course Transurfing TV, but this is really not what you need. This will help you, but if you're not willing again to take that second part and take the action in your life, then all of this is completely irrelevant. I won't be able to coach you to help you. Any of my courses are not going to help you. ITI won't help you. Transurfing TV videos or other transurfing or self-help videos, none of this stuff is going to help. It's completely futile if you're not willing to take that step, which is the most important step, the most valuable step. So again, all this stuff is cool, but if you're not willing to show up for the other half, it's useless. It's not going to do anything for you. If you are in constant crisis mode, you won't find success. You have to find yourself out of crisis mode. So a lot of what I've noticed is people that are reading the self-help books and really diving into trying to find all the answers to why their lives are fucked up and none of the stuff is helping. It's because they're in crisis mode, and you can't build a new house on a faulty foundation. So again, it's about taking action, getting rid of the junk in your reality, getting yourself out of crisis mode so you have some energy then to build that house. But if you're in crisis mode, it's just not going to work. Short-term culture. Success is consistent long-term action, and we live in a short-term cultured society. Everybody wants to see change now. You know, hustle, grind, get your thing, get your money, make money fast. I heard Gary Vee say, if you're not in it for the next 10 years, then it's a waste of time. And that's how I feel. Join up with stuff, take action in certain directions that you will feel happy taking for the next 10 years, and pinpoint when you are getting caught up in that short-term culture. The self-help books are part of that short-term culture. Fix yourself now. 5 easy steps, 1 trick that's going to solve this problem. And then you see that and you don't take the action and the thing doesn't happen and it didn't provide for you instant results. So then you're just on to the next and you're like a hungry, little monster that's just in search of more information because that next thing will help, when in fact that next thing does not help. So self-development is really about your relationship with yourself at its core. So this is one of the greatest things that I ever accepted. What direction I was going to go in that was going to benefit me, how I was going to develop personally, how I was going to find success, how I was going to connect with my higher self and that higher track. And all that stuff was a product of me developing a deep, meaningful relationship with myself at the core and learning how to communicate with myself. I am my own best coach. I am the one that has the answers that I am looking for. I am the one that figures out how to interpret this knowledge and use it to take action in my reality. No one else. And deep down, deep down, if you're having an issue with absorbing knowledge and being your own coach, I think the root there, that deep root inside that is inhibiting growth, is negative thinking, negative self-thinking. It's restructuring your thoughts and getting yourself thinking in a more positive direction about what it is that you intend to have, and being your own cheerleader and having positive thoughts and staying focused on positive thinking. So again, learning to communicate with yourself better first. This is my number one step. Number one, if you do not have a positive relationship with yourself and an active line of communication that you know what's best, none of this stuff is going to help you. You could read self-help books until you are blue in the face. If you don't have this, none of it's going to mean anything. So I hope that you all enjoyed this video. I know it's a little lengthy and it's intense, but please give me your thoughts if you have any. And of course, ask questions. I will do my best to answer them. And like this video if you in fact like it. Thank you so much, guys. Bye.